All right.
What's going on, everybody? It's Bill Bailey with today's Boondoggle. And real quick housekeeping note, if you're watching us on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. If you're watching us on Rumble, hit that follow and subscribe button. And whatever podcast platform you're utilizing, please hit the follow and subscribe button there so we can build our numbers up and continue to bring you interviews like the one I'm about to bring you from down under, Mr. Jason Crosson of the band Crosson. Is that the right pronunciation?
Oh, pretty close, Crosson. But yeah, that's good.
Crosson. All right. Nice. So, I'm glad Dustin reached out and I was able to kind of go down the rabbit hole. I was just enjoying some of your videos and I want to get into some of that. But when I have somebody on for the first time, I like to go get a quick background. So originally, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Oh, rock star, of course.
Since day one.
Since I think discovering Kiss and then, seeing my first Iron Maiden concert, it was just seeing all the flames and the 15-foot monsters. And I was like, you know what? I want to do that.
Nice. Yeah, it's like, Kiss is definitely like a gateway for a lot of us. I was talking with someone yesterday on a different interview, and just like, that show that they put on, the album covers, the way they marketed themselves, the young men like us, we are all about it,
Oh no, absolutely. They sucked us in, and it's still there after all these years, and they're still going.
Yeah, for sure.
They were here actually about weeks ago, so did the whole meet and greet, and it was very exciting.
Yeah, the whole the final farewell or whatever. We'll see.
Yeah, the end of the ride. We'll see. We'll see.
End of the road, yeah. But so Kiss was like one of the first bands you got into, and then you said you saw Iron Maiden live. And like, what are around?
Yeah, look, I think I must have been about 10 when it was I think they weren't that big here they'd sort of lost popularity overseas, but in Australia it was like the Beatles. It was just crazy. I remember our grade teachers just saying to the whole class, this Kiss thing is just a fad. It's just a fad. None of you will be into Kiss except Jason. And he was right.
Nice. And then when was it that you decided to get serious and start learning to play an instrument and stuff?
Oh, look, I've been playing an instrument actually since the age of 6. I mean, my father I was actually a typical Greek family. I was on the piano, accordion, but I don't feel so bad because I know Tommy Lee and Tony Iommi did it as well. So, and then around about 14, I picked up the guitar and just started writing, and it's been pretty much like that ever since.
And then, what pulled you into vocals?
I guess I wasn't satisfied just playing. I guess I always wanted to be the Paul Stanley or to just be up the front doing it. So there was a stage where I was just doing some rhythms and I was just like, this isn't me, I guess I like to shake my booty too much up there. So I was decided, this is what it's going to be. So a lot of trial and error to get it to where it is today. Many years of getting it wrong and going back to the drawing board, but we sort of found our niche in around about 2014 with the image and the sound and all that sort of stuff. And we hooked up with Duane Baron as our mixing engineer. And Duane, as you probably know, he did Girls, Girls, Girls and Ozzy Osbourne's No More Tears and the early Wasp stuff. So he's been around for a long time, and it just added to our sound, and it's where we are today. Yeah.
Nice. Let's talk a little bit about the trial and error. Did you meet some people in high school and kind of start other bands before this one?
Oh, absolutely. I guess I always knew, because I designed this logo in high school, yet I didn't end up using it till many years later. I guess I just knew that I'd have a band called Crosson one day. I guess it was just but yeah, there was lots of different bands I was sort of playing with. Pretty much they were all mostly originals. And then I sort of did start the Crosson thing. And then after a few years, it was just hitting the head against the wall. And I tried a bit of acting and stuff like that, but I just went back to what I really enjoyed, which was the music. And yeah, it was a lot of trial and error. The whole glam thing had died by then, so we were trying different sounds, and you can sort of hear that on our first two albums. But this isn't what I was about. So it was a matter of not only playing that sort of music, but also the image that suited it. So in around 2012, we sort of discovered that whole this is the sort of image we need to have to suit that music. And that's when the sort of stars aligned with the red and the black and the big boots but it was always, since the start of Crosson, it's always been having the girls there, because that's the entertainment value of it. Everyone likes to see sexy girls on stage, so.
Yeah, definitely. And then, what was the music scene like there? And now you're from Sydney?
I'm from Sydney, yeah.
Yeah, what was that music scene like getting started and building like your reputation?
Oh, it's always a struggle, especially when venues get closed constantly, and they're replacing live venues with poker machines, and so less and less places to play. And Australia's a different market, though. We've only got really 4 or 5 major capital cities, and they're all like 9 hours apart. So it's not like, say, the US or Europe. You can drive 2 hours and you're in another big city. So we do have a sort of limited market here, but most of our marketing and where we get noticed is more so outside Australia. I guess our publicists are in the US and Germany, so that's where people hear about us.
Nice. And then so once you guys kind of found your niche with Crosson, did you you said you got some publicists that have obviously one kind of brought you to my attention, but have you guys been able to get with any management and play outside of Australia yet?
We've done a couple of shows outside of Australia. We're still waiting for some, we're waiting for the call, for the offer. Obviously it comes down to, booking agents and offers and stuff like that. But what I'm actually doing too is actually promoting shows in Australia. So I'm working with another promoter here, and we're bringing out some acts. So that sort of helps as well. So it's not just the music, it's also the business side of things that I'm sort of working on. So
yeah, gotcha. Yeah, so you can get on some bills of some big bands coming through. It helps expose you more.
Brought out.
Yeah, and then let's talk a little bit about
quite a big entourage.
Yeah, you said you guys came up with the kind of settled on the image with the red and the black and everything. But let's talk about like the inspiration behind that. Like what inspired you to go with that outfit? And
okay, well, it was back in 2000. Back in 2010, we recorded. We sort of rebirthed Crosson after a couple of years of being stagnant, and we did the Dreamer EP. And the feedback we got was your image doesn't suit your look. So your image doesn't suit your music. So I went back to the drawing board and just remember poor Stanley had said like they were black and silver. Stripe had the black and yellow. I thought, okay, what are my 2 favorite colors? Black and red. And then it was sort of sifting through some 80s looks, and I came across X Japan, and I had a huge hair, and I went, you know what? Mix that with that, put it all in the blender, and
nice. Yeah, I kind of got that Striper vibe too when I was watching some of your videos.
Oh yeah, I love Striper. They're fantastic. Amazing harmonies. Michael Sweet's an amazing writer, and they're still delivering great stuff even to this day.
Oh yeah, definitely. And then well, let's talk about your current stuff. Tell me about the Ready Aim Rock album. putting that together?
Oh, well, okay. So before it was called Rock and Roll Love Affair, and we got some. It was a lot of. We got some great response to it. But always with each album, you've just got to better yourself. That was the thing. Now we didn't want to repeat doing another Rock and Roll Love Affair. So I sort of dwelled into my. I love Gene Steinman as a writer. I mean, he did all the Meatloaf stuff and all those Bonnie Tyler hits. So I thought, okay, what would he do in these certain bits? So we incorporated what we call our Crossons. Well, I guess we're renowned for just having catchy glam rock sort of anthems. So we incorporated a bit of Meatloaf style into that, and out turned out Ready Aim Rock. So just wanted to take things a little bit left of center. Didn't want to repeat ourselves, and I think it worked. So now the pressure's on for the next album.
Nice. And what's the relationship like with Galaxy Records? How long have you been with them?
Oh, that's actually my label. So
okay.
I run the label. So it's I'm pretty busy. So I run the label. Work on being a bit doing a little bit of promoting as well, plus the band. So things are quite busy.
Oh, I bet. Sounds like it. And then you guys have been, were described as like Stadium Rock Anthems. Your music's been described like that. Would you agree with that?
Look, it's very sing along. Our sort of stuff. The idea we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. Just keeping it simple but catchy. Sing along, raise your fist in the air. So yeah, I think the Stadium Rock Anthem sort of fits the sort of stuff that we're doing.
Yeah, like when I was watching some of the videos, like I said, and you definitely got that, like that stage presence, like you're playing in front of a stadium, So
well, Kiss. I think Paul Stanley also said, you play to 10,000 people, whether there's one person in the audience, or 50 or 100. You got to just give it all. So you always play to the back of the room. And give it 100% every time. So that's our sort of motto. We put on the show from beginning to end. The girls come out in different costumes. It's that sort of thing where you don't want to be looking at your watch or turn away because you might miss something.
Nice. And then you guys tracked this album at was it 3BY3 Studios?
Yeah, 3x3. So what happened with that? We'd had a home. It was called Damien Gerard's, and we'd recorded our last 3 albums there. And then they relocated up to the coast, and it was going to be too hard just to take everyone up there, because everyone records things at different times. So we were rehearsing at this place called 3x3, and they had a recording studio. And I thought I'd just do the drums there, and then we can do everything elsewhere. And then within 5 seconds, there was an engineer there called Jack, and he was absolutely amazing. And we knew straight away that this is our guy. So we tracked it all there over a period of a couple of months, and then we sent all the mixes to Duane over in the US, and he did all that stuff, all the mixing, and made it sound more bombastic. So yeah, it was a little scary walking into deep waters, but we found a new home at least now that we're really comfortable with.
And like while you guys were there in the studios, I read you connected with Marko Rado.
Okay, so Marko's our new guitarist. Yeah, so our old guitarist had left, and it was all COVID, so you couldn't really audition people face to face. So he auditioned online, and he just blew us away. He was a cross between Malmsteen and George Lintz, and we were in the studio, and he was just pulling off these solos, and me and the engineer just looking at each other going, holy moly. And then Marko would go, no, I'm not happy with it. I'm doing it again. So we're just going, what? So very good work ethic, very talented guy. So he sort of fitted he sort of blended in really well. And then he said, you listen to the album, his solos just like this, and tingles up your spine.
Yeah, nice. So, I mean, that was a definite bonus for you guys to grab him and pull him in.
Yeah, no, he's amazing. So he's part of the band at the moment. So yeah, we've got a good lineup now. So it's very strong. So we're just hoping to get over there and play for you guys.
Yeah, that'd be great. And then we had mentioned already, working with Duane Baron engineering for that project, but also like Dave Donnelly did some mastering for you. Like, how did you guys connect with them?
It was about, gosh, how many years ago was it now? It's probably around about 8 or 10 years ago. And we needed a name behind us. It gives you that. So I went downstairs and I took out my CD collection and I went through the back of all these CDs, and the name that sort of popped up the most was, Duane Baron. He'd done Poison's Open Up and Say, he'd engineered the first Wasp album, Ozzy Osbourne's No More Tears, Motley Crue, Theatre of Pain, Girls, Girls, Girls. So I contacted him, and he was happy to come on board, and he's sort of been part of the family ever since. So this is the 4th album he's done with us, and it was the same with Dave Donnelly. Just contacted him; he was happy to come on board. They'd sort of checked out what we did. So those two guys are sort of our engineering team, and they have been for the last 4 albums. So match made in heaven.
Nice. And then like you said, it looks good on the album resume, with the fans out there.
Oh, well, absolutely. And I mean, that's the sort of genre that, we're doing. So it just fitted in perfectly. And, some of the examples is, if you listen to like, what's the Poison song? Nothing But a Good Time. In the middle bit, he's got that reverse cymbal happening. And, I said, Duane, can you do a bit of that sort of thing? And, he does. So you can sort of hear the sort of similarities. That's, I guess, there is trademarks, so to speak.
Nice.
But yeah, it does give you credibility when you've got like a legendary engineer who's working with you as well. So absolutely, that was sort of one of the reasons as well. Plus, obviously, the fact that they do an amazing job.
Yeah, for sure. And then, like I said, I was going down the rabbit hole, checking out some of your videos and stuff, and I really enjoyed the Fallen from Grace music video. Want to ask you about like the concept of making that video and like, the message that you guys had with that song.
Right. So I guess we were meeting with our directors, and we obviously we generally shoot 3 videos at once, so we didn't want them to be the same. And I mean, the video that we did, obviously, it's got a bit of a horror theme to it, but it's if you listen to the lyrics, they're actually quite uplifting. But we thought we'd just go down this angle, have the girls in, black fallen angel outfits, and then we decided to get some contact lenses, wolf contact lenses. So we all put those in, and then the makeup artists are putting the blood in. So it just sort of broke things up a bit because most of our videos they're a bit tongue in cheek, and so we just thought we'd add a bit of a horror theme to it, which is now incorporated into our stage show. So if you see us from now, we incorporate Fallen from Grace, and the girls will come out in those outfits. And so yeah, it's just part of something to do. And when you're writing this sort of stuff and you're doing the sort of show that we do, you've got to try and think of something to incorporate those songs into the show. And that's exactly what we did with Fallen from Grace.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that with the contacts. I was like, wanted to ask you, like, what's going on with your eyes? And then at the end, you had the special effects with everybody too.
Yeah. So that was the whole idea. The girls come out, they possess the band, and then at the end, I get roped in, as you do.
Yeah, I was gonna say, speaking of being roped in, why are there so many? It seems like so many beautiful women are from Australia. Like, what's in the water over there?
I guess it's the sun. It's hot over here, so they just take everything off. So it's a good place to visit. I'm sure now all your listeners are starting to book their holidays.
Oh, it's been on my bucket list. I was in the Navy, but I was on the wrong coast, so I never got a chance to, hit Australia. I'm hope it's still on my bucket list someday. Come out there.
Yeah, come on down. We'd love to have you.
We got a lot of Australian transplants over here. Like I follow like professional wrestling and stuff like that, and a lot of the women that are real badasses are from Australia too.
Right. Okay. They probably get their training, fighting kangaroos.
Yeah. But I wanted to ask you too. Like speaking of Australia and living out there, I mean, you mentioned getting your new guitar, getting Marko during COVID. And like, I mean, everything I read and saw, it seemed like you guys really dealt with some really strict lockdown measures over there during there. So what was that like? And then, to still be able to connect and get a new guitar player and keep the band going,
Oh, look, it's sort of the whole recording. Look, the recording of this album got postponed by 3 months because it was just ridiculous. So they wouldn't allow small businesses to open, and we're talking myself, the engineer, and one of the musicians in a room with 100 square meters. They wouldn't allow it, so that's why our whole album got postponed by about 2 months. It was insane, and now no one cares. It's just crazy to think about where we were a year ago.
I wanted to ask you, like, what are things like now? Because, like, I know what I saw, like, what happened to you guys, like, a year ago. It was scary.
It was really tough for everybody. And I think the government just realized that I think we can't do this to businesses and people, and they fortunately, they did give subsidies and all that sort of stuff, but it was just insane. I wasn't for all that sort of stuff. I just thought, if you're gonna get it, just go out, protect yourself, and don't lock people away. But anyway, I don't want to talk politics.
Well, it did seem like, the people like kind of had enough, and that's when things started turning around for you guys over there. And it's like everywhere, when government kind of oversteps their bounds, but I know you don't want to get into politics, but it's like, we gotta quit being divided and unite as a, human people, for
that's right.
Rights,
No, absolutely. It was just insane. But anyway, I mean, you see what's going on in the world now. I think Iran's got some crazy things going on now because of these head coverings, and it's just insane. Anyway.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Well, I mean, that's why I liked when I was going down the rabbit hole of your music. I really got into the song "United." It seemed like the anthem. You're putting out there. So I guess that's what we do. We keep sharing a message however we can. No,
absolutely. It's all for one for all.
Exactly. Because it's like the sooner we realize that, all the things that they're keeping us separated by using like, race and gender and, politics and all that stuff. It's just distractions, man. It's the same people pulling the wool over our eyes, and, they keep taking, and the last thing they want is all of us together and united.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? It's funny that the world is, just live in as long as you do the right thing in your little pocket, and if you can change, you're not going to change the world, but if you can change a bit of it or your portion of it, then, stand up for what you believe in.
Exactly. That's why they say it starts locally, and starts in the home. So, but like I said, I really enjoyed that video for United too. And it seemed like a nice anthem in your way of kind of putting the word out there.
It was, I'm not even sure how it's sort of, if you listen to most of our stuff, it is uplifting, I guess you write what you surround yourself with. And, a while back it was, listening to a lot of things like The Secret and, your John DeMartini's, all these inspirational stuff. And it sort of comes out when you're writing as well, which is good to have that, because most of the time I got nothing to say.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I tell my daughters that too. It's like, it's always like your surroundings. If if you're going to be around negative people, you're going to be the next negative person. We got to surround ourselves with positivity. We got to lean more on faith than we do on fear in this world.
Oh, absolutely. Just if you got a goal, just write down every step that you need to take and then tick them off as you go along. Yeah. And don't let anything stand in your way.
Yeah. Well, that's a great segue to my next question. What personal goals do you have for yourself going forward now with yourself and with the band?
I guess I just want to take it to the next level. We want to come over there. We want to play to as many people as possible and show them what Crosson is about. I mean, during the whole COVID thing, we obviously couldn't travel anywhere. So we released Live at the Orpheum, which is a live concert with a 6-camera theater. So we shot it all professionally. So anyone wants to see that, I think now it's on YouTube, but we've also got the Blu-ray. And then we just want the show to grow. We just want to play to as many people as possible and keep on putting out good music, and grow our fan base and show people what we're about.
Yeah, for sure. And then what's something that you feel like you can keep improving on and learn?
I think listening to good writers. I think as a writer, I appreciate people who can write really well. So if I can sort of see what other people are doing, work on the brilliant writers like your Desmond Childs and your Jim Steinmans, and it's just a matter of growing. So obviously the next album we're going to have to grow on that, and then the following grow on that, and just keep on growing and getting better and better and better at what you do. And have your ears and eyes open as well. I think once you start thinking, I've achieved my opus diem, then that's when things start going back. You always got to challenge yourself so that you can take the next step up.
Yeah, exactly. Like the great philosopher Roddy Piper once said, just when you think you have all the answers, you change the questions,
Absolutely.
So Jason, I want to ask you, I mean, I know we touched on, some of your early influences in coming into music, but I want to ask you some of the questions I normally ask guests I have on. Who are and this is always a tough one for musicians especially, but who are your top 3 musical artists?
Wow, tough one. Well, I always answer this one. If there was no Kiss, there'd be no Crosson, pretty much. They had a big influence, especially, if you look at us as well, it was all about giving people more than just music, but also something visual. Now, I could spit out another 30. I loved Motley Crue. That was also a big turning point, picking up that black vinyl and then opening up and seeing, 4 guys immerse themselves in hell. So Shout at the Devil was a real big turning point for me. And then, of course, there's, your Striper, your Dokkens, Scorpions, Iron Maiden. They're all very much influential in what we do. But that whole scene as well, that whole 80s scene was just, I was your typical young teenager, just the wall full of posters, and you couldn't see the paint on the wall because it was just covered with artists and rockers and, Bon Jovi. But even earlier than that, I still love listening to ABBA, and a few of the guys, one of my co-writers is just go and listen to what they're doing, like all the little melodies happening in the background. So that's also quite influential music as well, because I'll just go, oh my God, listen to all that stuff that's happening in the background, So you try and incorporate different things into instead of just being guitars and bass, just to try and incorporate different melodies as well. So, they're obviously amazing songwriters as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So I couldn't break it down to 3. Sorry, I can't stick to the rules.
No, most musicians I talk to can't. They feel like they're leaving, they're betraying somebody, leaving somebody out. Gotcha. Is there a particular song though that has been an inspiration for you? That's like a go-to on your, like a regular on your playlist when you're like need a pick me up?
Oh, oh my goodness. Not one in particular. I just, that's a real tough one. You're pulling out the big guns today, aren't you?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, oh gosh, To Hell with the Devil. I mean, that's just always a classic anthem, and Run to the Hills, and yeah. I think if you listen to our album, Invincible, the first song, it's called Rock Warriors, and during that song, it's like Heaven and Hell, Looks that Kills, Shouted Out Loud, Run to the Hills, Back in Black, Balls to the Wall, The Last Command, Breaking the Law. So that's the stuff that influenced us, and it's sort of mentioned on that song there. So if anyone you guys want to have a listen, it's Rock Warriors from the album Invincible.
Nice. Yeah, I'll have to go back and check that one out. All right. Well, here's a little bit of a different question for you then. What class do you feel should be mandatory before graduating school today?
Ethics and manners. I just feel that that's sort of been lost a bit in the younger generation. So not only just and work ethic as well. I think people believe they're entitled and don't understand that you want to get anything in life, you got to work your butt off. So okay, I guess so
it's not just an issue here in the States. You're dealing with it there in Australia too. All right.
Oh yeah, I think it's what the education system, they teach you, and even when you go to college or university, they teach you how to get a job, not how to, build wealth or chase your dreams or build a business or build whatever it is that you want to do. So I think, if we can teach the kids at a young age that, you've got a goal to make, you need to take steps to get to that goal. But also you need to be polite, ethical about what you do. You'll get there, you got to be a likable person.
Yeah, exactly. And then 3 people who've inspired you or you can credit for making you the person you are today.
Oh, well, okay. Well, obviously my mum and dad. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here. For being my inspirations, gosh, I guess if you look back, there's some people in your life that, have given you a bit of a break. Now, I remember being in, primary school, and then I was just an average student. And then I remember one of the teachers who was coaching the head rugby says, "You come here. I want you to work your because someone had faith in you." With the music, I got a bit of a mentoring by a guy called Steve Ravitch from Melbourne, who'd managed a couple of bands, and I'll never forget that. So thank you, Steve. And that set me on a different trajectory as well. So every night, I feel sorry for the guy because I was just calling him all the time because I was I knew what we wanted, and he was sort of guiding me. Okay, you need to do this. So I go do this. 3 weeks later, I call him back, "Steve, it's done. All right, you need to write 4 new songs for that in your album." Done. 2 months later, I'd call him up. "Right, Steve, what do I do?" So that was a great guidance for me. And then from then, I've learned how to do all that. So, the last 3 or 4 albums, I know where I'm sort of going. So, yeah. From the top of my head, that's those sort of people that sort of have a bit of faith in you and can see that, you're hungry and that you'll do what you got to do.
Amen. And then any causes or organizations that you support and encourage others to check out?
My wife is more so does all the charity work, and she's on a lot of, fundraising committees and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, I've got to give her the kudos for that. She just gets me to sign the checks.
Nice. And then favorite toy as a child?
Oh, I was actually big into the I had lots of those superhero dolls, and the Bionic Man, and your Batmans and your Robins. I had a Fonzie doll, so yeah, I was definitely grew up playing with playing with a lot of superhero dolls and stuff like that. Yeah, absolutely, that was my thing.
Nice. And then do you have like a favorite well, since you brought up superheroes, do you have like a favorite superhero or comic character?
Oh yeah, well actually you asked me what I wanted to be as a kid, and before I wanted to be a rock star, it was Batman. There's photos of me up on a tree with the cape. But also a big Star Wars fan, and a big Rocky fan. Which is good that my kids are into that now, so I can buy all the toys that I couldn't get back then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I was doing too with my. It's like all the comic books I read, now they're on the movies. So I take my daughters and we go see the movies, or like, they brought back Star Wars. So I got to go through that with them,
Yeah.
It's really cool,
No, it is cool that all that stuff's still going.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Jason, I appreciate your time, man. It's good, talking with you. And I definitely, if I ever get to complete that bucket list and make it over there, I'm going to hit you up.
Hit me up. We'll show you around.
Yeah, for sure.
And don't believe all the stories about the sharks. There's not that many.
Nice. And then, like for any of our listeners out there that are new to hearing about your band and want to check it out more, or support you guys with any upcoming releases or buy some of your old stuff, where would you send them?
Okay, so firstly, obviously our website, which is Crosson, CROSSON.com, and then our Facebook page, our Instagram, which is all, and YouTube, which is all at Crosson Rock. So pay us a visit, give us a like, and you'll keep updated to what's going on.
Awesome, man. I appreciate your time. So before I let you go, you mind doing me one last favor?
Absolutely, Bill. No problems.
You want to cut a promo ID for the show? Just introduce yourself, and you're listening to today's Boondoggle.
Okay, no worries. This is Jason Crosson from Sydney, Australia, and you're listening to today's Boondoggle with Bill Bailey.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Bill. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, take care.
All the best. Cheers.
Cheers.